Hello everyone, welcome to Craft Round the Clock TV. I'm Susie Lee and I am with Bella Lena Boutique. That's the name of my page. And I would just love it if you'd come on over there and give me a follow. My sweet little community is growing over there. We would love to have you. Tonight I am going to just, first of all, let me just thank Miss Tracy Campbell for allowing me to have this opportunity to share with you this new technique that I've come up with. And I think it's kind of fun, and I can think of a whole bunch of ways that we can use it. So let me just bring up my comments here. And hi, Ann. Hi, Sandra and Melinda. Hi, Jean. So nice to have you all here tonight. And Kathy and Sybil. All right. All my Bellas are in the house. Cool. All right. So, okay. So listen, this is what we're going to do. I have a 45-minute time slot, and I'm going to get to getting, as I always say, I want to show you what I've been working on today to share with you this little technique. Now, some of you have already seen me do it and in different ways, but you've never seen the rooster version. Yes, indeed. I want to show you, I got a Dollar Tree board. Okay, just a Dollar Tree canvas board, and I had this little napkin, this cute little, now what I love about this napkin is that it's got a lot of color and pigments and all different kinds of tones and values in it, and so we can play with this a lot. We can do some good things with it. I'm going to show you what I did with it today. I'm going to show you a different application for it. This is what I did today. And I took this cute little rooster, and what this technique allows you to do is it allows you to make art out of a napkin. I mean, I'm not an artist. I don't claim to be, but you can be an artist with this technique. You just take the napkin, and I'm going to show you what you do with it first. But hold on just a second here. I love to go thrifting, and I love all things vintage, and so I picked this little vintage tray, silver tray, up recently, and at the Salvation Army. And what I've done thus far is I have used Mod Podge on it because the Mod Podge has to be dry in this technique. I put Mod Podge around it and let it dry completely. Okay. Now I've got my napkin over here. This little napkin is going to separate it because it comes in different, you know, all different plies and all that. This napkin was gifted to me by one of my followers. And okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take a little brush and I'm going to dip it in some water. Okay. And I'm going to go, hi, Linda Adderholt, how are you? And Susan Austin. Nice to have you, ladies. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine how big I want this rooster in the middle of this tray. So, and I want it pretty big, but I want to cut out some of this stuff around it. I want to keep the flowers, okay? I want to keep the flowers, and I want to keep, so I'm just going to go around it with my brush, with my little wet brush, okay? And I try not to lose all of it because I want to keep, you know, I don't think this is a rooster. I think it looks like, more like one of those fancy hens to me. It looks like a fancy hen, like a French country, you know. Hi, Rhonda Cunningham and Jennifer. How are you? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I just kind of wet it around the edge like that, and I'm going to start to pull it apart. Close to the rooster's feathers or hen, whatever you want to think it is. I don't know. I'm going to say it looks like a pretty little hen to me, but my niece has some beautiful hens that they lay some beautiful eggs, and this reminds me of them. Okay. All right. Okay, so you get the gist of how it's kind of like frayed at the edges, okay? Because you don't want to take it all off. You just want to just go around where you see the roosters. You want to leave some of the green because you want you're gonna try to match those values up with paint. Okay, that's the key, is to try to match up all those little values with your paint. And it's really not that hard. And the result is always astounding to me. I'm always like, wow, this looks like I painted it. And I didn't. You don't have to be an artist to do this kind of art, right? Okay, now right here is a little tricky. Right here you want to be very careful around the feet, because, you know, they're real small, and you don't want to take off any of that. You want to kind of keep the feet intact. You know, they're skinny like little limbs, you know. But you want the edges all to be frayed. And what the water does is it allows the napkin to kind of disintegrate, because it's only one ply. Aren't the napkins beautiful? They were gifted to me by a follower, and I love them. They are just beautiful. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of what it looked like when I did the board. It almost looks like a heart. It almost looks like a heart shape. All right. And I'm going to pull off just a little bit more of that green, as much as I can, but I want to keep some of it so that it kind of gives me a something to go on, you know, what colors I'm going to use and all of that. Okay, now this technique is fun. I love it because it's pretty foolproof. I've already coated my center of my platter with the Mod Podge and let it completely dry, okay? Completely. And this is parchment paper, not wax paper. This is parchment paper. And I just laid this out, cut a circle around it, okay? And then I folded it in half and folded it in half again, okay? And what you can kind of do is you can kind of gauge how big you're going to need it. I'm going to take off a little bit of it, like a little piece of pie. So I don't need it that big, and I don't need it to be flapping around while I'm trying to heat it. I'm going to heat set this on there, okay? There we go. That's close enough. And I have this little iron here in my arsenal that I purchased from on Amazon. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently apply in circular motions the heat, just like this. Hey, Miss Tracy, so nice to have you tonight. And little circular motions, just like this, putting it right on the tin. And what I love about this is it's seamless. It's just seamless. It's so pretty. Making sure you go all the way to the edges. Make sure you get them all in there. Okay, now what I did with this one over here, this little guy that I did, it was white already. The board was white. So I Mod Podged it and I went right over it. Now this is silver, so it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little bit different. Probably should have went over it with a little bit of paint before I put the Mod Podge on, but I'm good. We'll make that work, because I use a paint called Fusion Mineral Paint. And hi Melba, hi Jenny, and hi Debbie Foss. Thank you, Jean, for the stars. And this Fusion Mineral Paint is so pigmented that when you add it to other acrylic paints to make a different tone or a different value, what it does is the coverage is phenomenal. It really helps the coverage. And having the Mod Podge on here also makes everything nice and smooth and makes it go easier. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna just give this another second over here. I want to make sure that it's all on there really, really well. Yep, and it looks like it is all but one little spot. Okay. All right, set that aside. And this is what we have. We have a little rooster in the middle of a plate that looks kind of nondescript, and he looks kind of lonely. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that. Okay, I've got, this is gonna be my palette tonight, my little styrofoam plate. Okay, and I've chosen out of these hues, I've chosen some paints that I think lend themselves to what's in here. This is Apple Barrel Sky Blue, and I'm just gonna put, all you really need is a little dab, a little tiny dab of all the colors, okay? I've got Folk Art Forest Moss, because there's some pretty greens in here, and this green lends itself really, really well to a lot of the green in here, but if you notice, some of the greens that are in here are lighter, some of them are darker, so you're gonna want, oh, I got a star party going on. Thank you so much, you guys, thank you. So you're gonna see different greens that I'm gonna be using. This one is Crisp Green by Apple Barrel, a little squirt of that. Gonna go in my palette, not much, I don't need a whole lot of each, like a size of maybe a quarter for all of them. Here's a beautiful blue that I used. It is called Sailing Sky, and it is a Joann's brand, and you don't need much, again, and I'm gonna put it right next to the other blue. Okay, it's a little bit darker, okay? And a little bit of this peony, and this is by Anita's. I use a whole variety of colors, and I'm going to use, this is a metallic red by Deco Art, and that's how I achieved some of the pretty little floral notes in that little rooster piece on the other one that I did. So this is always funny. You got to push it forward. You got to push it forward in order to shut it forward, and then close it. There we go. Anyway, and I need just a little bit of this light mocha. As you see, there's some light mocha colors. Oops, I'm going to use this also as a little bit of a guide, because I'm going to do some things that are the same and some things that are different that I did earlier today. I thought this might make a really pretty decoupage, or camouflaged decoupage, and it did. It really did. Okay, so what I've got here is a pretty little palette. Might even add a little bit of this. This is my raw silk. I'm going to put it in the middle. We're going to have a little center of black and white. This is raw silk by Fusion Mineral Paint. This is Coal Black by Fusion Mineral Paint. Put it right in the center. Whoops, that was a little more than I wanted, but that's okay. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take not a very good brush. I'm not gonna suggest that you use a good brush, because you're gonna be doing a lot of pouncing, and if you paint with your brushes a lot, you're not gonna want to ruin it. I've got one that's about a 1/4 inch and one that's about a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to use them both in this application. I also have a script liner brush for the finer things that I'll do toward the end, and so that's that. Hi Linda, how are you? And Lucia and Michelle. Okay, so I'm going to get my water close by too, because a lot of times I need to water down the process. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of the Fusion Mineral Paint and the raw silk, okay, and I'm going to mix it just a little bit off to the side here with this mossy green, okay, and I'm going to try to match just a little bit. Ah, shoot, hold on, I see a part that I didn't get laying down. That's real important. You have to make sure that's laying down really well. Haha, first thing I touched, it came flying up at me. But this is such a great process. When you get it down, it's not coming up. It stays down good. What this does is this heat from this iron reactivates the Mod Podge, and it just lays down very, very, very nicely for you. Okay, making sure. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my green, and I'm just going to start trying to match up some of these greens. It's not going to be perfect at first. Okay, you're going to find that some of this green is definitely not going to match, but I'm going to make it match in the end. Okay, just going to go around it. Pounce, pounce, pounce. I'm going to grab up a little bit lighter. I mean, when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit lighter green. I'm going to go a little value up and a little brighter, because I'm looking at the values in the green and the grass here. It's just a little bit lighter. Okay, and I'm going right up to that napkin, and I'm touching it with the paint. I'm literally touching it with the paint. Okay, add a little bit of creamy white in there, creamy dreamy. See, this is an ethereal looking. This is a paint technique that lends itself to those ethereal looking paintings you see all these wonderful artists do. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue, because as you see, there's some blue up here around the tail feathers. So I'm not changing my brush at all. I'm not changing at all. And I'm going to keep my wet napkin so I can pull off some of the paint later on when I need to, okay? Hi, Michelle, how are you? So I'm going to just keep this right close by. I'm going to add some more blue in here. And as you can see, the muddled look of the pouncing of the brush, you see how I'm just pouncing? This muddled look just becomes the background, and it just becomes so pretty. And it just becomes like part of the background, and the rooster or the chicken just fades off into the sunset. And I love the way this looks. I love this. I love this technique. Okay. And as you will see, as I'm going around here, I'm trying to determine what will look best in the background. You know, picking up a little color blue, a little bit of white as I go along. And it's not going to stay that color. It won't stay that color. And I'm going right up the sides of the platter, because what's going to happen is later I'm going to go around it with raw silk and trim it out, or black possibly, and just trim it out so it'll be. All right, now I'm coming up to the flowers, okay? And I'm going to take a little bit of this peony and this other lighter pink and the darker pink. Actually, that's red. That's a metallic red. But I'm just going to go in here and try to pick up some of that pink in that flower. You see how that did that? That just took that flower and brought it into the mix, okay? Just brought it right on into the mix. I'm going to go over here and do the same thing with this one. Some of these over here. Like that. And it's going to get faded into the background, okay? Back to the green. Notice I haven't cleaned my brush. I'm just going right on back there and dabbing around here. A little pink, some more green, a little bit of white. Just going to dab around. And I'm going to cover this whole circular area here with various colors, and you'll see me grab up colors like black, but what I'll do is I'll blend it. Like right here, I might right over here, I might add a little bit of black into the green, because this is a really dark green, and I want the value of this green to be darker, just like that. So I picked up a little bit of that bright green with the black, and it gives me that look. And I come right on top of the napkin. To do it, you come right on top of that napkin and just keep pouncing. And what happens is it just becomes one. The two become one. It's like a marriage. It's just like a marriage, you guys. So pretty, right? Really? You have one? Did I make it with this napkin, Sybil? I don't remember. I must have though. That's funny. Picking up a little more green here. Okay, now it's light. It's going to be lighter down here. Okay, but I'm going to go in and mix up a little bit lighter green down here. And I keep going back and forth, modeling it here and there. And I'm blending. As I'm pouncing, I'm blending all those colors together. You know, when as a woman, when you put on your makeup, what's the one thing you don't want to do? You don't want to see a line of demarcation. You don't want to see your face and your neck two different colors, right? Same concept. Same concept. You don't want to see where the rooster napkin ended and where the paint starts. You want to blend that really, really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lighter colors as I get into the lighter hues, okay? It's going to look like I did this, I painted the rooster, and I so didn't. You saw it, right? And there's grasses right up next to that rooster. I'm going in there with these colors, and I'm blending them very, very, very lightly, just blending those colors right up next to the rooster. See, right in here, I don't want to see a line. Like, I don't want to see two separate colors. I want them all blended together. If I start another color, then you bet I'm going to blend the heck out of it, and I'm going to blend it right up into the napkin. See what I'm doing here? Going right up into the napkin. I don't want to see any of the silver showing through, okay? And what's helping with this, I think, a lot is the Raw Silk Fusion Mineral Paint. It just has so much pigment that it really helps. Okay. And it looks like a portrait, if you will. It looks like an oil portrait, and it's done with acrylics here. These are all acrylic water-based paints. And if you're doing it on a canvas, it looks very vintage. Yes, yes, indeed, it sure does. If you're doing it on a canvas, the result is a little bit different, just a little. It blends differently. I can't explain it. It just blends differently. You have to, it's better felt than telt. But I'm just getting in there and getting all that silver out of there that I can see. I'm going to stand back here for a second. I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to decide where I need to go next and what color I need to choose. Going right up to that rooster's belly. Okay, like that. I don't like a lot of paint on my brush. Sometimes when you're using the canvas, you can dip your brush in water and it just reconstitutes the acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is great for that. It reconstitutes with a little bit of water really quickly, really easily. Okay, let me see, what do I want to do here? Okay, this is kind of maybe a little bit of these two greens together. I'm going to mix them up. See what that gives me. Add a little bit of white maybe, and just blend it. Okay, I'm liking that. I like the way it looks muddled. See what I'm saying? It gives you that muddled kind of ethereal looking background. And I like going around and just adding a little bit of white. I like to just go like this. I just like going in and adding just pure white and then just blending it right into the background. Just pick up a little bit of that white, and I'm just going to put it like over here as if the sun's coming right from behind, okay? And I'm just going to put it here and there. I'm going to wipe a little bit of it off on my napkin and just lighten it up a little bit, but I'm going to blend the heck out of it. You're not going to see like a blob of white. You're going to see it blended. Just like that. And this is so much fun and so easy to do. you guys would love doing this. You're gonna, if you practice this and you do this, you're gonna find yourself putting this on all kinds of things, which is what I'm gonna show you in the next few weeks. I'm gonna show you different applications for this and what you can do with it. I mean, wouldn't you love to get something like this as a gift from someone? I know I would. It's so pretty. All right, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of blue because I want a little bit of blue coming out from those tail feathers. Okay, just gonna grab some blue up and see how nice that blue matches. It just, and you notice I haven't dipped this in water. I have not dipped it in water. I'm just going with it. I'm blending, dabbing these colors all around. And see what that did, that little bit of blue? See how it just kind of blended it and muted it a little bit? It just looks so pretty. And yes, vintage. Okay, I'm gonna go over here because I see a little bit of black that needs some blending. Might even add a little bit of white to it over here and blend it in. Okay, and I'm gonna put some of the pinks. I'm gonna bring out some of these flowers right over here like that. I'm gonna add to them. Might add a little bit up here. Just very, very lightly. You don't need, a little bit of this pink goes a long way. You almost want a dry brush, you know, and just make sure that you blend it really well so it doesn't look like, you know, you just stuck a flower in there. You want it blended into the background. Okay, you can even go over it with a little bit of green if you feel like you got too much. Okay, try to keep an eye on my time here. Okay, all right, and I might put just another little pink, a little bit of pink. I added a little lighter pink, a little darker pink. I'm mixing them in like that. I even like putting a little green in with that pink. It's pretty. And I'm going to put a couple of those little flowers over here. One here. Oh, maybe one, not down here, because that's kind of where the sun is coming through. Yeah. Just going to add a little bit of color to the mix, okay? Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of water this time because I want to really blend those flowers into the background. I want them to look very muted and ethereal like the rest of the piece. The water helps to dilute it and make it very, very natural looking. Just making sure it's blended really, really, really well. Just to, it almost looks like just like you're looking through a screen almost, you know, at these colors. They're just so muted and ethereal looking. Okay, so I mean, you could do this until the cows come home, and I'll play with it some more later, but for the most part, this looks pretty good right now. Does it not? It looks pretty good. I usually stand back and look at it. I'll probably go in with a little bit of blue toward the belly of the hen and give it a little extra blue. There we go. Just, I go right up to the napkin and touch it. Right up to it. I'm not afraid of it. She won't bite. She might peck me, but she won't bite me. She'll peck me. All right. And down here, you can get in there with a little bit of whites and greens and just dab it and try to make it look more like these values over here. The more you blend, the better it looks. Oops, I didn't pick up my green. I was trying to. And you'll have some lights and some darks, and I love it already. I'm loving it. Okay. All right, so I probably will play with it some more later because that's what I do. I stand back and I look at stuff and I go, that doesn't look right. I need this or that or the other thing. There's a little spot in here that I'm going to pick up some of this flesh tone color that looks like the napkin may have had a hole in it. And I'm going to fix that just like that, because the silver was coming through and now it's not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this script liner. I'm going to add a little water to it. I'm going to go right in here with this flesh tone. I'm going to roll it against my plate and make it nice and skinny, okay, like that. And I am going to add right under this, or right here, I think, right here in front of the rooster, I'm going to add like a little tree branch, okay, coming down, little wispy tree branch. And it's going to be muted too. I don't want any of this just like that. I wipe it off with my finger, okay? I don't want any of these little wisps to be prominent. I want them just like that. You put it on and you take it off with your finger, okay? You just want it kind of like that, just little wisps. And I'm going to take the same brush, go right into the green, do the same thing, get a little bit of the white. I'm going to make some sort of like grass. A little bit of white and a little bit of green, roll it around. Some grasses just coming out here, like that. I don't want it to be all the same. All right, I'm going to come and grab up some of the white from the tail feathers and I'm going to drag it. I'm going to drag it right as if I painted those tail feathers and I wanted them longer. That's all. They need to be longer and wispier. I grab up some of the blue and do the same thing over here. Grab up some of the blue, some long tail feathers. But if I see that they look solid, I'm going to wisp them out with my finger. Okay? Just going to go around with some blue. Get some water on that so I can roll it around. Very wispy. Less like that. That's what I want. Wispy feathers. Just like that. Okay? See that? Okay, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And your light source has to come from one direction. Apparently it's coming from this direction in this one. And that's just the way it is. Okay, so let's see, what else can we do with this? There was something else I wanted to do. Oh yes. How much time do I have? Yep, I'm good. I'm good on time. I'm going to use a metallic gold because you will see it come to life. You will see the whole thing come to life when you add metallic. And you know what? I think I might go ahead grab up another one of these because it's getting, my palette's getting full. Okay, you don't need much, right? I'm going to take a smaller brush, the 1/4 inch one, okay? Dip it in some water to make sure my brushes are wet. And I'm going to grab up some of this metallic, okay? What this is going to do is it's going to give it movement. It's going to give it interest and movement. Not a lot, but you can see how dry that is. But when I take this and I just go like this, right in a couple of areas, I add some gold to the piece. It gives it some shimmer, but I'm going to blend this gold in. I'm not going to leave it just like a blob of gold, like I said. I'm going to blend it in with the whole, like I did with all of it. Okay, maybe some right over here. I'm even going to put some in her tail feathers. Just making sure that it's blended really nice. Get in there with your finger if you have to. Wet it down. Yep. So that it's got movement. And I'm going to put a little bit of gold, not in her tail feathers, but I think there's a little bit of gold in her tail feathers. So I'm going to add that little bit of gold just to give it some shimmer. Just like right there. That just seems too white to me, right there. It needs a little bit of shimmer. There we go. I love it now. Now we're cooking with gas. All right. I'm loving it. I love it a lot. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? It looks like I painted a rooster with a background. When you paint this sort of thing, usually you do the background first and then you paint the rooster. Well, this is the opposite. You put the rooster on and then you paint the background, right? It's the same. It's exactly the opposite. The variety is the key. You're right. You're absolutely right. You want it all muddled and hodgepodge, and that's what makes this piece work. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to go around the edge with Fusion Mineral Paint in the, I think I'm going to do it in the black, because, you know, I should just use the one I have here. Duh. But I'm going to need a nicer brush, a flatter brush to do that. Yep. Sure am. Hold on. Grab one. I know I have one on this side of the pond. Nice flat brush. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get right up next to it and frame it out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to frame this. This is thicker. Maybe I could use this. It might work a little bit better. Frame it out. Now you could do a crackle finish on this if you wanted. It would be really pretty if you did it black and then you went in with a crackle medium. That would be so pretty. Go in with a crackle medium, crackle it with, after the crackle medium dries, you just go over it and crackle it with acrylic paint, and it's actually quite nice. You can go to the Salvation Army, your thrift stores, pick up all kinds of vintage trays like this. I love going to the thrift stores and going through their trays, and there's always such a nice variety, you know. And I love the detail in them. I'm going to try to make this a thinner coat. Okay, goes on pretty quick. Like I said, it's Fusion Mineral Paint. It's really highly pigmented, and a little bit goes a long way. Thank you so much for spreading the love and all of that. I appreciate that. Yes, if you would, that would be wonderful. That would be great. Aw, thank you, Deb. That's a compliment coming from you, you little painter. Got Miss Deb on here from Art and Grace. Okay. And I think I might do that crackle finish because I think it would look very farmhouse. I don't have time to do it tonight. I won't be able to do it in 5 minutes, but I may do that. I may go over this with the crackle medium. Well, I've got 6 minutes. Oh, could I make it happen? I can't paint upside down like my friend Deb does, though. She's a painter. She's a real true painter. All right, I'm going to have to go a little bit slower on this because I can't see the edges. Oh, got my thumb in it. Can't see the edges. I have to go slower and pick it up so that I can go right over, right into that corner. Like that. So this becomes the frame to the piece. I know it looks kind of weird. Like, why did you choose black? Well, if you do the crackle medium, you have to have something dark in the background, right? So that when it crackles, you'll see the dark crackles. That's the key. Just take your time, get in there with a steady hand, right to the edge. If you make a mistake, just go back on in and blend it. It's just paint, guys. That's the beauty of this project. It's just paint. You can always change it. You can always fix it. The first one I did, like this, was on a tray. It was roses, and I didn't like the background. So I added my own background, and hence decoupage camouflage. It just worked. I played with all the different values and colors of the paints that were in the flowers, and it worked. Okay, this is not going to work. This is not going to won't have time to do the technique I want to do. But it does look vintagey, even like this. This looks vintage, doesn't it? You can go over all those high spots with a little rubbing buff and just make it pop and make it beautiful. Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, Cineo, how are you? Okay, I only got a couple of minutes. How many minutes do I have? I got 4 minutes. I'll show you what I use. This is the Crackle Medium. It's by Folk Art. And all you do is you put a coat of the Crackle Medium on the dry paint. Okay, make sure your paint's dry. Okay. Like that. Give me a thicker brush. Okay. And you just go in with a thicker brush like this and give it the Crackle Medium all the way around. And it's nice because you don't have to put on 2 coats, because it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to crackle. Okay, whoops. And putting on if you want a lot of crackle, you put on a good thick coat. Okay. If you want tiny crackles, you just put on a little thin coat. Like that. Okay. Dry it up. I don't know. It's a race to the finish. Will she make it? Just gonna dry it up. And I will go over the rooster. I will go over the hen, the rooster, whatever you want to call it, the bird, with some Mod Podge when it's done. That's what I did with this one. This is a finished one that I did earlier today on a little canvas board from the Dollar Tree. This doesn't have to be an expensive project. You can frame them out, you can bling them around, or you can frame it with some jute twine or whatever you want to do. Make it farmhouse. Actually, I put a little piece of bling in for the eye. Can you see it? It's an Aurora Borealis eyeball. A little bling for the eye. Okay, and just want to do a little piece of this just to show you what it's going to look like, this crackle. I'm going to take a little piece and go over it, and you'll see the crackle effect. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. Once it starts crackling, you want to just stop, okay? You don't want to go over your crackle. right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how pretty this will be around the edge when it's all crackled. And I will post a picture of it all completed, okay? And we'll post a picture of it. But you can already see that the crackle is starting to take place and my time is up. You can see that the crackle is starting to take place very nicely, and it will be beautiful when it's all dry. And I will put this in a beautiful easel and display it and show you guys how it turned out. Thank you so very much, you guys, for being here. I appreciate you, each and every one. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you, Miss Tracy, so very much. And I will see you next week at the same time, hopefully. And we will do another decoupage camouflage project, and we will put it on a different surface, okay? All right, guys, thanks so much. Love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.